Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. This is the third video related to the philosophy of language, and this time we will be focusing on the design features of human language or the characteristics of human language. But it is not a topic of linguistics, it is a topic of philosophy of language. That's why it would not be explained the way it has been explained in Yule. So let's start with our video. Let me ask you something. A parrot can say hello. A bee can tell other bees exactly where the food is. A dog can communicate hunger, fear, or affection. So why do we say that human language is unique to human beings? What exactly makes what you do with language different from what a parrot, a bee, or a dog does? The answer lies in the characteristics of language, the specific features that make human language unique and different from other communication systems on the earth. The characteristics we will study today are drawn from three major linguists: Hockett 1960, Aitchison 2007, and Yule 2005. Hockett originally developed his list to compare human and animal communication. But since our focus is human language, we will look specifically at the features that define us, the features that separate human language from every other form of communication in the natural world. There are 6 characteristics. We will cover today all these 6 characteristics. Each one is a window into something remarkable about language. Let's open them one by one. The first one is cultural transmission. What is cultural transmission? It is perhaps the most immediately relatable of all 6 features. Think about this simple scene. A grandmother in Lahore sits with her grandchild and tells stories about family history, traditions, values. A teacher in a class from Karachi explains mathematics, history, science, all through spoken language. And a father teaches his son a trade through instructions, demonstrations, explanations, all mediated by language. Now ask yourself, what would happen if language did not exist? Every generation would have to start from zero. Every discovery, every lesson, every cultural value lost. The next generation would inherit nothing but biology. Language is the reason this does not happen. Language allows every generation to stand on the shoulder of the one before it. This is cultural transmission, the ability of language to carry knowledge, values, experience, and other habits across times from one generation to the next. And notice something important. The language of a society is itself part of that society's culture. The words Pakistani use, the proverbs we share, the way we greet each other are all the part of our culture. This is cultural transmission. There is another explanation. Our language is the part of the culture, is culturally transmitted to us. We do not inherit language. We inherit the knowledge in the language, the custom, the values, the traditions in the language, because it is taught to us through language. On the other hand, animals inherit language. They do not inherit knowledge. Now look at the second feature of human language, arbitrariness. This is again very interesting feature. It is the idea that there is no logical connection between a word and what it means. The concept of a female adult, a human, is called woman in English, aurat in Urdu, zen in Persian, and femme in French. None of these words looks like or sounds like a woman. None of them is the correct or natural words. They are all arbitrary, agreed upon by conventions within their communities. Onomatopoeia, the partial exceptions in human language. Words like buzz, hiss, splash, they imitate the sounds of the things. These feel less arbitrary. The word buzz actually sounds like what bees do. But even these vary across languages. What sounds like a dog barking bow bow in English is bhonkna in Urdu. So the imitation is not universal. Here is the most important implication of arbitrariness, and Hockett makes this point brilliantly. If language were not arbitrary, there would be only one language in the world. If the word for water had to sound like water or look like water, every human being would use the same word. But language is not constrained that way. Communities choose their own words by conventions, by history, or by accident. And that freedom, that arbitrariness, is actually what gives language its extraordinary flexibility. From a small set of sounds, we can build an almost infinite number of words. Arbitrariness is not a weakness of language, it is one of its greatest strengths. The next feature, discreteness. The third characteristic is discreteness, and this one is best understood through a quick demonstration. Say these words, pack and bake. The only difference is a single sound, p and b, and yet the meaning changes completely with a single sound. This is discreteness. Language is built from distinct, separate units, sounds, which are called phonemes, and switching one unit switches the meaning altogether. Compare this to animal communication. Many animals communicate through continuous signals. A louder sound means more danger. A slower one means less danger. It is a scale, a gradient, not a switch. Human language does not work this way. Our units are digital, not analog. Discreteness is what allows language to be so precise because our sounds are distinct and separate. We can combine them in a specific controlled ways to produce specific controlled meanings. The difference between I will meet you and I will beat you is one sound, one discrete unit, but there is a hell of difference in the meaning. The next property of language is displacement. The fourth characteristic is one of the most powerful and most uniquely human. It is called displacement. Right now, I can talk to you about something that happened last week. The seminar on Friday was interesting. Something happened tomorrow. I have a meeting in the morning. Something imaginary. What if human had never developed writing? Something far away. The traffic in London is always smoother. Bees can communicate location, but they must do it immediately, physically, upon returning to their hive. They cannot discuss yesterday or next week. Animal communication is about here and now. So, displacement is what allows human to do philosophy, to write history, to play in cities, to tell stories. Every dream you have ever described, every memory you have ever shared, every future you have ever imagined, all of that was possible because language is not trapped in the present moment. Language travels through time and through space. This is called displacement. The next property is creativity or productivity. The fifth characteristic is creativity, also referred to as productivity, and it may be the most astonishing feature of human language. The sentence you are hearing right now, this exact sentence in this exact order has most likely never been spoken before in the history of humanity or human language, and yet you understand it perfectly. This is productivity. From a finite set of words and rules, humans can generate an infinite number of new meaningful sentences. Compare it to the animals. Now, animals have fixed set of calls. Perhaps some animals have dozens of calls. Once those calls are used, the language is exhausted and there is no novelty, no new message, no creativity in animal communication. Human language has no ceiling. Language is stimulus free. We do not need something in front of us to talk about it. We can speak about anything at any time in any combination. Every poet who has ever written a new poem, every scientist who has ever formed a new hypothesis, every child who has ever asked a question no one expected, they were all exercising this property. Creativity is not just an artistic gift, it is a grammatical fact about human language. It is built into the system itself. The sixth and final characteristic is called duality or duality of patterning, or it is also called double articulation. And this one explains how language manages to be so productive with so few basic units. Language operates on two levels. Level 1, sound, individual sounds like p, b, t, d, k, g. These are meaningless. The second level is when combined, pin, bit, tip, they produce distinct meanings. The same small set of sounds produced entirely different meanings depending on how they are combined with each other. English has roughly 44 phonemes, 44 sounds, and from these we can make billions and millions of words. Phonemes are meaningless alone, meaningful only when in combination. Think of it like the alphabet. 26 letters in English, meaningless individually. The letter K means nothing by itself but combines letters in specific ways and you get knowledge, kindness, Karachi, and many more. Duality of patterning is the architectural secret of language, a small foundation supporting this enormous structure of language. This is all about the 6 properties of human language. What we did today? Today we studied 6 characteristics that define human language, drawn from Hockett, Aitchison, and Yule. Cultural transmission, language carries knowledge across generations. Arbitrariness, the link between word and meaning is conventional, not logical. Discreteness, language is built from distinct units that produce distinct meanings. Displacement, language travels freely across time and space. Creativity, language can produce an infinite number of few messages with every new occasion. Duality, language works at 2 levels, at sound level, meaningless, at combination of sound level, meaningful. Together, these 6 features explain something extraordinary, why human language is unlike anything else in the natural world. No animal system, however sophisticated, possesses all these 6 features. This combination is uniquely, definitely human. In our next lecture, we shift from what language is to what is philosophy, and we will begin to understand why philosophy and language are two inseparable related partners. If this lecture helped you, share it with someone who needs it. Your questions go in the comments. Until next time, think clearly, speak carefully. Thank you so much.